hello, hello. This is Adrienne, also known as Capricorntigress of Astrology, a look inside.com. And I'm coming to you at a very strange time in history. You know, we've got a lot going on politically, and it's strange that it would happen when the planets are in Aries, because Sagittarius normally rules politics and things like religion and law and order and travel and international and foreign affairs. And we're seeing a lot of these subjects come up during Aries season. I also want to preface this before I get started on anything I say on the fact that Aries is a very aggressive planet or sign. And whenever planets are in that sign of Aries, they also are aggressive in nature. So I might come off aggressive when I communicate today because I just noticed that the Sun and Mercury and Jupiter and Chiron are all in my third house of communications. So depending on where you sit on this fence, you may take affront to what I'm about to say. But I did do a live in TikTok. I posted that to YouTube, so you can look at that and figure out what I'm about to say. But I'm going to address this. This week we saw that former, I'm going to say 45. I've never called that person president, especially not I never did. And I want to be honest with you about that. I mean, this person, there was a point, there were investigations done, and people, I don't know how they forgot, but you know, it was proven there was interference from foreign nations when it came to the vote in 2016. I think they said it was Ukraine, or it really, it was Russia, because he was friends with Putin. And that's the whole thing. Michael Cohen talks about how Trump was buying up property and stuff in Russia, but I'm not even going to go into all the back details. I advise you to go to places like the Midas Touch, MEIDAS, on YouTube, or Young Turks on YouTube, or any place who is not blinded by cult-like behavior. Because what I'm seeing is cult-like behavior. This man has been indicted on 34 charges. It is not a political witch hunt. I have said this in my other live, but I want to say it again, because somehow, some way, people, and I don't want to name what kind of people they are, but they have taken a person who in my lifetime, and I'm 60, has always been a criminal. This man has always been criminal. I don't understand, I never did understand how he got to run for president in the first place. You see, I'm from the Delaware Valley originally, which is South Jersey. And there are people, don't get me wrong, who still vote for him in the South Jersey area. But when I was younger, I'm talking back in the 80s, the early 80s, like before 85, Trump had already been the subject of much controversy because he was using contractors, construction, all these different places in the Delaware Valley to build his buildings and for his projects. But then he was not paying them. And there were businesses that were going bankrupt. I'm talking massive layoffs and bankruptcies. It was awful, awful. And I just remember Channel 6 News. I don't know if it's still ABC, but it was ABC Channel 6 News back then. And they did this documentary, this expose on Donald Trump, and man, was it scathing. I mean, at that point, they were saying he was connected to maybe to the mob, that he was criminal, that he had built out all these businesses, and that they were looking at doing something to arrest him then. But then somehow he managed to claim bankruptcies. And this man didn't just claim one bankruptcy. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he claimed it 10 different times. And do you want to know what that really was about? It was so he didn't have to pay all those people who had worked so hard to make those buildings for this man. He never paid anybody. He was always a criminal. That's why when they talk about him not, tax evasion, I'm like, that's the least of it. Like, tax evasion? I know that's what they got Al Capone on, but that would be the least of it, because man, oh man, when back in the 70s and 80s, this guy was absolutely criminal and was doing some absolutely criminal things to businesses. And I'm going to just say it. If you're Black or Hispanic and you have voted or are thinking of voting ever again for someone like him, shame on you. I have no respect for you. Zero respect. Because what he did to the Black people when he, with his buildings that he owned back then, it's legendary. So I don't understand how people can close their eyes to what the past already is and make pretend it didn't exist. Now they want to erase or forget 34 potential charges, things that no other politician, let alone president, has ever attempted to get away with. They impeached Bill Clinton for getting a blowjob. Can I just keep it real? That's all that man did. Whatever was happening between him and Hillary and your moral code had nothing to do with politics. The only thing they could say was that it happened possibly in the White House. But Donald Trump paid off a porn star so she wouldn't talk. His lawyer has attested to this. You guys, maybe it is apples and oranges pun here. But those oranges are rotten, and they have been rotten. And if you keep eating them, you're going to get sick because they're not good. Now what they're doing is there's all of this, I don't know. I just saw this thing on YouTube where Bobart was just going on and on about Hunter Biden. Can I just, first of all, that child does not have a GED or a high school diploma as far as I know. And you can tell when she talks because, first of all, can we keep it real? Hunter Biden is not running for president. Nor is he a president. Nor is he a political figure. Do I care? Whatever Hunter Biden did. Who cares? It means nothing. You're wasting our dime. You're wasting a taxpayer's dime. You're wasting our time on top of that because nobody cares about Hunter Biden. He is not the person in office. Therefore, anything you find, who cares? What, he's guilty by association? Well, in that case, Trump should never run. Everybody that worked for the man is either arrested or dead. Open your eyes. I don't know if therapy is needed. I don't know if, I don't know how to get people to open their eyes. They're so blinded by what they want that they can throw stones at everywhere but where they deserve to be thrown. And I feel sorry for you. If you are one of those people who thought Trump was the next coming of Christ, literally they have put him in the same line as Jesus. There are some people out there, it's obvious that you're in a cult or you're a fanatic. We can't take you seriously anymore. When I hear you, I can't take you seriously. When you make your threats, I can't take you seriously. When you point your fingers at other people other than where they need to be pointed, I can't take you seriously. It just doesn't make sense anymore. I mean, it's all out there for anybody to see, not just these people in the prosecutors in New York. Anybody can see it. What he did in Georgia, trying to fix the election, obvious. Trying to do a coup, obvious. All of this stuff is obvious, even along the way, the things he's saying. No other president or ex-president has ever said or did the things this man is saying. Taking home documents out of the White House and storing them in your house, absolutely abhorrent. I mean, it just, the list of what this man has done, it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It's 34 indictments, 34 charges, you guys. And on and on. And these are not mistaken. These are actual things that anybody would be charged for if they were not Donald Trump. So I think what he thought was he could do all the criminal activities he wanted, and that because he had at one point, I think, gangstered his way into office, because I don't think he was ever really president. The first election should have been overturned when they found that there was interference with the electoral votes, and they had discovered that, and it was already proven. So that entire first election should have been overturned. I don't know why they let that man finish it out, and all they did was try to impeach him. They should have just erased or annulled the entire presidency, because he really never won. There was interference from a foreign country, and they are not American. Their votes are null and void. Therefore, the entire election was null and void. What he's angry about is that he tried to do something illegal the second time, and people already caught wind to the fact that he was going to do something illegal. There's something that no one's ever really talked about, and I have wondered who, when, and how they're going to get the connection to it. But does anyone remember when his daughter went out and bought hundreds or thousands of voting booths? What were they going to do with those? Where exactly did they go? You guys, I'm tired of you keeping your eyes closed to the reality of what is happening. We're dealing with the atypical Geminian persona. And I've known my daughter's father is a Gemini. I had a best friend for 41 years who was a Gemini, who I am no longer friends with because she became a Tea Partier and started supporting crazy stuff like this. But there is a certain type of two-facedness and false-facedness that exists with Geminis. They're famous for it. Any astrology book in the world will tell you about it. They're known for being two-faced. They're known for being two people. They're known for being fake. They're known for being glib. You know, they can speak on things very quickly. But usually these are very not cool people because you can't trust them. They are known for being liars. It is what they do. It's their claim to fame. They're the communicators, right? They're Mercury. They're mercurial in their speech patterns. That means anything could come out. And a lot of times they lie or joke or play or whatever it might be, but it's not true. So I feel like there's a lot of people, many of you, that are, you believed it. There was a whole bunch of hype. You believed the hype. You've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled. And now, I mean, you've been drinking on the Kool-Aid. Did anyone see when Trump had that rally and he had the, what is it? Was it the Branch Davidian choir or whatever? The Waco, Texas, where they had the mass murders. Yeah, it was, oh gosh, y'all, there's nothing normal about what we're seeing, hon. People, I feel bad for people who are still caught up in this, whatever this is. I think we've had more than enough time of it, and it's really time for it to end. And I feel sorry for all of you who had been lied to or believed in a false promise or a false God. This is your false God. And sadly, you're not only have to deal with, the law, because don't forget the law opposes Trump. See, Trump's a Gemini. The law is ruled by Sagittarius. That's one of the reasons he's getting his comeuppance, because he's meant to. You can't do and be and say and act the way this particular person has been and not get some comeuppance for it, because it's dangerous and it's criminal and it's illegal and nobody else in the world can get away with it. So why should him? Why should he? I actually applaud what the prosecutors are doing. Why? Because it's showing that none of us are above the law. I know I do the littlest things and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble because I've done one little thing. Like, I've not paid taxes because I haven't made any money. But you still have to file even though you didn't make any money. And my daughter said, no, Mom, you got to make a certain amount of money. Don't worry. But even so, that, that inside of me, I'm thinking, how can someone never, after making all that money, never paid taxes in America? They said he paid more taxes to Russia than he paid to us. That's really disgusting. There's certain things, you guys, that you just have to open your eyes. It's all right there. I don't even think any of this stuff is really properly hidden, because once his lawyer, Michael Cohen, started talking, it's all kind of there for anybody to see or hear if they really want to. So what I consider is happening is like blind worship. That's all it can be at this point. And it's scary because they're willing to put their lives and other people's lives, all of our lives, in jeopardy over these crazy false belief systems that they're not real. It's all based on lies. Somehow you're going to have to wake up to this reality that they're all based on lies. The reason I brought this up is that Sagittarius is trine Aries. So Sagittarius is getting a nice boost from these Aries planets right now. And yeah, it's sextile Gemini too, for the most part. But see, as far as I recall, his planets were in the 12th house, at least in the chart that I looked at. And I feel like that's one of the things, all the hidden things that he thought were hidden are being exposed in a big way. Plus, naturally, Gemini, all Geminis, the solar, natural Gemini, if you put Gemini in the first house and then you have a house system like that, well, Pisces would be up in the 10th house. And Pisces is got Saturn in it at 2 degrees of Pisces right now. And so if you've got planets in the early up to 12 degrees of Gemini, well, they're square. And it's in the 10th house. It's your career. Saturn is going to restrict the career. What we see in public, it's, Saturn is the great, if anyone's going to arrest a criminal, it would be Saturn. It's a great taskmaster. It calls you to task for what you've done wrong. And this man's career has done so much wrong over the last 40 years or so that he is definitely being called to task. And you're going to see, I don't even think the 34 charges are going to be the end of it. I think the 34 charges that we heard of are just a beginning. And that is going to be even harder for his followers to accept. That this is not even all of it. This is like the tip of the iceberg. This is not the whole iceberg, because this guy's criminal activities obviously go so deep. Look, how can everybody connected with one person end up either in prison or, lose their jobs or whatever, if the person that they're protecting or working for is not also guilty? All his businesses were shown to have fraud. His lawyer had to go to jail. Look, this guy is dirty, and we know it. So every time you come out with excuses of why we should protect this guy or give him a pass. Like, his son literally asked for him to get a pass. He's been getting a pass for the last 7 years. Ever since 2016, when he stole that election from Hillary Clinton, who obviously, she had 3 million more votes, and then he went and got fake electoral votes. Look, I will never call him president. It's always been false. It's always been fake. How Gemini is that? Everything's fake. That's the whole thing about Gemini. Geminis can be good or bad, right? But the one thing they're known for is their fake faces, the lies, and not being real and not having any substance. And when you go and you look beyond all the big blustering, this is what we found. It's just a stack of empty cards that is with lies on them. Everything's a lie. So if you can't accept it, then just go into your, and go and pray. But don't interfere with justice, because this is justice. This is what he earned, and Saturn is going to mete out what Saturn metes out. That's what Saturn does. It's sitting up in his, solar 10th house. And it's going to be there for 2.5 years. So he's not getting away from this. Now, if you think that wasn't enough, in his actual chart, he's got Leo, I believe, in the 1st house. Early degrees of Leo, if I'm not mistaken. And that is the other thing. Pluto is at 0 degrees of Aquarius, which means it's in the house that opposes. It's either in the 6th house or it's in the 7th house. And either way, Pluto over there makes his enemies mighty, mighty powerful in the 7th house. If it's in the 6th house, then I think he's going to have issues with his health. And I've said this, I hope that this man can survive this. If he doesn't take this, his just asserts easily and willingly, well, that's what Pluto does. Pluto, it takes you down to nothing. Then you got to rebuild again. And if you don't have the strength to rebuild again, you won't. So it's best for him to be honest and to do everything according to the book, and have them work through this the best that they can. I don't think he's going to be found innocent of anything. I think they're going to find even more criminal charges. And I think this is just the beginning of them. And that is probably very difficult for his followers to accept or understand. And I almost want to say I feel sorry for him, but I don't. I don't feel sorry for him, because you had 7 years to figure this guy out. And you didn't figure him out in the last 7 years after 2 impeachments? Really? Come on. Really? I can't believe you. This has got to be something else. And the fact that you would take a man who was impeached twice and name him as your candidate for the Republican Party, and then get upset that he's being called out on the very crimes that most likely got him impeached in the first place. What did you expect us to do? Why would you even attempt to put a criminal into office in the highest job in the land? What is wrong with people who think that there's nothing wrong with this guy who's done things that darn well you could never get away with? No one could. And if you just close your eyes a minute and just imagine, not saying he's done anything remotely like this, but just imagine if it was Obama who was doing these things. Obama can't even spit on the street without you guys wanting to arrest him. Yet this guy's done all this stuff. And you want to pretend it's not real. Come on. Please stop it. Enough is enough already. We've had it. We're done with it. And we all look at you, all of you who still follow him, like you need medical attention. Because there's something inherently wrong. Why would you believe those kind of lies now? Anything that anyone says that even remotely is saying that this is a witch hunt or something, like maybe one charge, but 34? And that's not even all of it? That's just the tip of the iceberg? This guy's criminal activity stretches back to the 70s. So please, you guys, please open your eyes. I kid you not. And let me say something else to you, GOP people, Republicans. Stop voting for people like Bobert and Marjorie. These people are fanatics. If you keep putting people in office that are not qualified to be in those positions, then you're going to continue to see the type of videos and charges and failures and losses and changes that are going to happen because you keep selecting unqualified people to represent you. Why do you do that? Where are your qualified people? Surely you have somebody who is more qualified for president of the United States than Trump or DeSantis, because DeSantis is a racist who is not, I should never get anyone's vote, ever, for any reason, ever. There's something wrong there. And the fact that you're supporting that, anybody supporting that, there's something wrong. You know it's wrong. Somewhere inside of you, you know it's wrong. But you're going along with something that's just distasteful. It's ugly and it's sad. I can't say I feel sorry for you because you're the same party who wants to keep AR weapons out there so people can just die in the streets, so children can die in their schools. Nobody has respect for you or your party anymore. How can we? How can we? This is your opportunity now to say, look, we were fooled just like everybody else. So now we're going to open our eyes and we're going to find a decent candidate that can maybe change the way people feel about us and our party. But instead of doing that, you keep putting in unqualified people into your political arena and keep pushing this guy who did so poorly the first time. The worst president on record. Why would you try to put the worst back in? It just shows to there's a problem. It's I don't know how you guys are going to be fixed, but you're obviously broken, because no way on God's earth would any of you guys, except if anyone, independents, Democrats, nonpartisans, anybody, would do the same. And because it's so lopsided, I have no respect for you because you want it your way, but you would never allow anyone else to have it the same way. Ever. The things you guys chastise Obama for pale in comparison to anything I've seen from this guy. When you talk about Hillary's emails, I don't care if she had 10 million emails. It pales in comparison. Who cares about emails when we're talking about someone who tried to commit a coup? We're talking about somebody who tried to fix an election, who tried to make everybody's votes not count, who probably lied his way in the first time, who paid off porn stars while he was already in a position where he should not have been doing that. His lawyer went to jail for it, so you know it must have been true. How can the lawyer get arrested for something that Donald did and Donald not get arrested? I just want to tell you guys, stop. Just stop. When you keep throwing up people's names like, yeah, let's go get Hillary, let's go get Obama, let's go get this one, let's go, like, stop. You sound stupid. Because nothing they've done, any of, you can take all of them together, lump up Hunter Biden, right? The BS of Hunter Biden. Who cares about Hunter Biden? Is he running for president? Hell no. It has nothing to do with Hunter Biden. It's such an obvious deflection. Obvious. What? Hold on, you guys. Hold on for a second. Whose stewards serve? Look, sometimes I get crazy messages like that. Like something called steward service. Who is that? Why are they calling me on this Sunday? Why? Why would I answer my phone? Anyway, you guys, I'm going to use that as my cue just to I've ranted enough. I just had to say something. I had said something on another video, but I had to come back and say something again because I just can't believe that their answer to the fact that this guy has been indicted on 34 charges is to go after Hunter Biden. Like, really? And the thing they're going for, it's so stupid, but who even cares? Like, that guy is not the president. It doesn't make any difference. Hunter can be the most dirty, underhanded criminal in the entire freaking world, and I wouldn't care one bit. Why? Because he's not his father. That's why. And what the son does has no reflection on his father at all. Period. We all have bad children. Like everybody, you can't control what your kid did. It's a grown man. So everything you're doing looks stupid. And you're wasting time. And you're not facing your own reality. And that is what makes, I think, the people in office in the Republican Party right now so completely abhorrent that in the face of the reality that they have chosen a bad path, continue to go down that bad path and then try to add other people into the darkness with them. Just stop. You're disgusting. What are you all? Like, what is this? Is this like Damien and his demon followers? Like, what kind of sick cult following is this? Just open your eyes, people. There's something really wrong. I'm giving you I'm going to say that in a nice way because there's something wrong, right? So may you all see what that is and heal from whatever pain you might experience from facing the reality of it. But may you at least see it so that you can get closure and you can heal your life, and then you can start helping this nation to heal and to make decisions that are going to heal our nation, not tear it apart. It's sad because it doesn't have to happen. And the fact that you're doing it over someone who doesn't deserve it, doesn't deserve all this. This guy was always a criminal. So when you put yourself out for somebody like that, it just looks bad. It looks bad for all of us because everybody in the world can see it. Not just the Democrats, not just, whoever you want to term as your enemy, but because it's reality. And sometimes we have to face that reality. And Trump is going to be made to face his career reality with Saturn in his solar 10th house. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. Anyway, this has been Capricorntigress. I usually don't sit around and talk about the political things, the reasons behind things, but sometimes we have to talk about the political reasons behind things. And astrology does still show us things politically as well. And like I said, if you go into my group, my Facebook group, you'll see where I actually did do Donald Trump's chart. It had to be 2 years ago. At least. But it was not good. It was not good what I found. It pointed to everything that's happening right now. And I feel sad that even in the face of the reality of being exposed to what this is all about, his followers refuse to open their eyes and heal from the lie and the delusions and whatever brainwashing they've been on. I really do pray for them and hope that they get better and that they're able to overcome whatever this pain might be for them. So this has been Adrienne, Capricorntigress of Astrology, A Look Inside. Much love, much light, many blessings, and good luck to all of you who need to be healed and washed clean And remember, if you're a Christian, God says in the Bible, do not put any other gods before me. Do not put any other gods before me. God was very specific about this. If you believe in the Bible, if you believe in the Ten Commandments, I mean, I heard they went and tried to redo the Ten Commandments, which the stuff going on in the last year or so, or since Trump, craziness, but that's one of them. But in the original, it says, do not put any gods before me. God was very, very specific. And I pray you pray on that and find the truth in your heart so that you can make the right decisions in the future and not those based on false gods. Many blessings.